Hey everybody. So, I have had a lot of questions lately about what got us started here at Heard the Whispers, and not only what got us started, but where we see Heard the Whispers going. And that's a good question. So, I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So, back in 2019, my granddaughters wanted to take writing lessons. So, I mean, who can say no, right? So, I started with that. That's where we started as far as our current situation. So the grandkids wanted to start writing. I met a 14-year-old girl who happened to be a student in the building. I'm a teacher. I'm a special education teacher. For those of you who don't know, and she rides horses. She's in rodeo. Um, she's kind of a little cool girl, right? So I checked with her and asked her if she would be interested in teaching the granddaughters how to ride. She was very interested in that, and I was excited. The kids were excited. They started riding horses. Um, Long story short, we started to um, we leased one of the horses for a little while, and which was really cool to do. The girls actually got to ride her in a rodeo. They did barrels with her, and light barrels, I'll tell you, because they're little and they were beginners. So they did barrels with her, and they did plug with her. So, and which is one barrel. You just go down, go around the barrel, and come back. And they did poles too, but they didn't do that in a rodeo. But anyway, that was some of the stuff that they really enjoyed doing. They loved all of it. In the meantime, I was really connecting with the horses, and I just got to a point where I couldn't see my life without a horse in it. I was not born and raised around horses. However, my mother, which you can see her in these pictures back here, this picture here is a picture of the book that she wrote. It's just like about herself. It was never published or anything like that. It does have the copyright, but it's never published. And this one right here is her on a horse. Um, this one is my father-in-law. He was just dressed up as a cowboy because he wanted to be. But anyway, this is my cowboy room. So my mother was horse crazy. Anyone who knew her growing up knew that she loved horses, and that was her jam. And everything revolved around the horses. So all the stories that she told us in this book here would create a horse girl in me. I was just grown. So my dream just hadn't come true yet. But with a lot of help from my husband and other people, I am now a horse girl. So um Heard the Whispers all really started in 2022. In November of 2022, I was just scrolling along and I saw a video of this beautiful Tabiano paint horse that in the video she was being ridden bareback, and she was calling for another horse. And she just kept calling for this other horse. And I showed the video to my husband, and he's just like, yeah, she's pretty, that was all. And I was like, yeah, she's beautiful. She is, look at her, just look at her. And I was like, she's so sweet. And he just looked at me like, how do you know she's sweet? And I was like, oh, I can just feel her soul. Her soul was intermingling with mine. And I was just like, oh, I need this horse. I need to bring her home. I can't let anything bad happen to her. And I was like, girl, you're crazy. And my husband agreed. And I let it go for about 5 minutes. And then I went back and I watched the video again and again and again. And I was like, I have to make sure this horse doesn't go anywhere bad. So I was watching, and then there was another horse, and I had a similar feeling with him, except it was a little different. But I was just like, I have to. He was a sweet boy too, and I could just feel it. And I was like, I have to make sure that these horses are safe. I knew nothing about making a purchase from a kill pen. I didn't know anything about anything. All I knew is that I saw the video. The horse was calling my name, and I needed to bring her home. So, if you know me, you know that I don't quit. I do not quit. I get mad. I do not quit. If my mind gets set on something, I'm going to figure it out. I will find a way to make it happen. So that's what happened. I was just like, what do I do? So I did like screenshots, I think, of them. I may have even shared the videos. I'm not sure what all I did. I know I took screenshots. So I posted these pictures on my page, and I put it out there that here's the big thing. Yes, I have a farm. It's a farmette. I have barns. They're beautiful, but they were not ready for horses. Not even close. I didn't have stalls. I didn't have walls inside there. I didn't have fences. I did not have one fence on my property. Nothing. There was nothing keeping these horses on this property. So I was like, I'm not set up for a horse. I don't even really know how to take care of a horse full time myself. I know how to, I was going over and helping this young girl with her horses when I would be there. But I didn't truly know how to be a horse owner. And I was like, am I getting in over my head? What am I thinking here? But I had to do it. I just had to do this. And I knew I would figure it out. If I set my mind to something, I'm also not going to do it halfway. It's going to be all the way. So I'm going to research. I'm going to figure all this out. I'm going to go through the steps, and I'm going to ask people, because other people know more than I do. So I'm asking. So I put it on Facebook and asked for if anyone knew of anyone, or if they themselves had a piece of property that I could either board my horses on or rent from them or whatever, if it was just the property. But if anyone had a boarding facility or anything that, any way to help me so that I could bring these horses home. And people immediately started reaching out. They started reaching out with, wow, this is awesome. You're rescuing and you're saving these horses and these sort of things. And thank you for the encouragement. But that's not what I was looking for. I needed a place to bring these horses. So I just kept asking, kept looking. And all of a sudden, this wonderful couple reached out and they said, hey, just saw this. We have a barn with X amount of stalls, and we don't have any horses here, so you wouldn't even have to worry about quarantine. You just bring them here and they could be here. Okay, like, how much do you want? Because boarding can be super expensive, right? It can be very, very, very expensive, which was another thing. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I had it figured out, people. I'm serious. Like, I was figuring stuff out. Like, what can I cut back on to make sure that I get these horses? Right there, I was hooked. You could tell, because I gave up getting my nails done. No pedicures, no manicures for this girl anymore. because I needed to buy hay and pay a vet and whatever else I needed to do. So right away I was like, okay, these are things I can give up. Those are just a few of them. So fine, I'll give those up gladly, and I did. Um, so then the couple was like, why don't you come out and check out the place and see what you think, and we can talk about how much. And I was like, well, that's really cool, but I was, I was like, I know God's got this plan. I know he's got me right now, and he's going to make this happen. But I'm human. So I was still like, oh gosh, how am I going to swing this? What am I going to do? How am I going to come up with the funds? And I'm not going to say how much it was. I'm not going to say the people's name, not because I don't want to give them accolades, because I do, because they were wonderful, wonderful for offering this, and they're great people. I can't even express how grateful I am to them. They changed my life. They also changed the lives of those 2 horses, and many more to come. But that's another story. So anyway, we went over, we checked out the property. It was beautiful. It was like 5 acres of property there, and beautiful stalls. I mean, it wasn't like a millionaire's, stable. That's not what we wanted. That's not what we needed. We just needed something safe, warm, and accessible, and and it was all of that and more. So we're like, oh my gosh, how much are they good? I mean, it was beautiful, and it was like less than what other places would have charged us to board 1 horse. It was less than that, because I asked around at other places too, and I cannot thank them enough for doing that. So that's what we did. We made an agreement. We would come and we would do some work. We would help clean up whatever needed to be cleaned up, because they hadn't had horses on it for some years. So therefore, it had some weeds like the thistle and stuff like that that we needed to clean up. And man, did we find that. But anyway, so we agreed that we would just be there a few months, is what we thought, and then that was November. The horses arrived in December, first week of December, and I was so excited, and I just couldn't wait for them both to be unloaded. And I knew the one was a little thin. In the video, they said that he was a little thin, but they opened up that trailer, and we were sitting in the house drinking some coffee that morning with the couple in their kitchen, and we were just like, oh, when are they coming? And I'm getting text messages from the guy, and he's like, I'm about 20 minutes out, and I'm like, oh, 20 minutes, I'm gonna be a horse owner, right? I'm gonna be a horse mama. And I was so excited, and I'm trying really hard to play it cool, I never have been able to do that well. And then I heard them pulling in, because he's like, I'm here. And I hear them backing in, and we all get out there, and I'm videotaping him, 'cause I gotta keep myself busy. So I'm videotaping him backing in, and then I put my phone away. I was like, well, I can't take any more pictures because, I'm busy now. You open up that back gate, and there she was. There she was. The most beautiful paint horse on the planet. With the sweetest, most gentle eyes I've ever seen. I'm going to get teared up. She was beautiful. I was changed in that moment. She had me. I was hooked. So she got off, and she had a blanket on, because I had paid for each of the horses to have a winter blanket on for transport, because it was cold. And then my husband took the other horse off the trailer. And he called my name and he said, "Hey, did you know he has something wrong with his eye?" Which he wasn't supposed to have something wrong with his eye, but he did. I'm sorry, I teared up. He had something significantly wrong with his eye. So I went and I checked him out after I brought the other horse a little up further. And we decided at that moment, we're like, you know what? We need to take them into stalls and take their coats off and really check them out good. So that's what we did. We took them into the stalls and we took their coats off. And the paint horse, she had a nice thick winter coat, and she had a good meat on her bones, and she looked very good. Maybe not perfect, because she had been through it. She had been through the kill pen, and she had just been through hours and hours and hours and days actually of transportation to get to us. And then I went and I checked on the other horse, the black horse. He's a black horse. He had a little white on his hoof, and he had a marking here on his forehead. And that marking looked like a spade, like a card, the spade of ace of spades. So we thought, oh, what can we call him? Maybe it'll have something to do with ace or, something, cards of some sort. I don't know. We couldn't figure it out. But anyway, we weren't looking for a name yet. But then I was looking at him over, and he was so skinny. The horse probably weighed 650 pounds if we were lucky. He should have weighed about 1,000 with his size. And so he was very underweight. I mean, he was at least 300 pounds underweight. Skin and bones. All I could do was cry. And the paint was so sad. She was just so sad. And I could feel how sad she was. And all I just kept thinking was, oh, somebody loved this horse. I could tell. Someone loved her, and someone took good care of her. They took such good care. Both of these horses, at some point in their lives, they were loved. And I just had the feeling that the paint, it was just a fresh wound. Like she'd been loved her entire life. And now she was tossed aside. And maybe it's because she got too old, or maybe it's something else that I have suspicions on why she was sent to auction. But at the time, I had no idea. I was a new horse owner. Didn't know much. So I was brushing her and just trying to make her feel comfortable and letting her learn me and just being in her presence. And that's what we did for the first couple of weeks. We just were in their presence, and that was it. Cleaning around them, talking to them, feeding them, obviously. We had to put the black horse on a refeeding program. But they both earned their names very quickly. I believe we named them the day that they arrived. Within the first 24 hours, we named them. The paint, the entire time I brushed her, I just cried for her because I could feel her sadness. And I just kept saying, oh, honey, it's okay. It's okay, honey. And the name stuck. So I named her Honey. And she quickly became my heart horse. Quickly. The other horse, the black horse, he was just so quiet. And I had to be very cautious when I would go into his stall because I didn't want him to feel my pain that I felt every time I looked at this thin, skinny horse. We were also told that he was 18 or around 18. And we had the vet come out, and the vet checked him out, and he was in really bad condition. They also suspected that he was at least 30 years old. So he was an old horse. He walked very slow. He was a sick guy. He was a sick old horse. And it turns out, she said that the vet said he was in congestive heart failure, and that she would not think badly of us if we decided to say our last farewells to him. And we said, he's not ready yet. He's not ready. He still had fight in him, So we had to let him make that decision. And, people had been making some decisions for him, and they weren't in the best interest possibly. So we wanted him to make that decision and let us know. So she left that day, but she said, call me if you need me. And 17 days later, we called. But in the meantime, because he just came to us so gently and so softly, we named him Whisper. And he was just that. He was just so soft and gentle. And he took to my husband very quickly. And my husband took to him. My husband is a nurturer. He comes across as tough and, but he loves these horses. And he's a caregiver. He cares for those who are sick, and he wants to make sure that they are taken care of well. Not just taken care of, but taken care of well. And that they hold their dignity the entire time. So that's what we did for Whisper. And in the end, we did have to make that phone call. It was 17 days later. We had to make that phone call. It was during the, the polar vortex in 2022. And so we had to let him go that day. And then we turned to Honey, and we were like, what do we do with her? She's alone now. We can't just leave her alone. And we decided that we would start looking for horse. Even though our hearts were hurting, we knew that Honey needed more than just us right then. She needed a companion out there 24/7. And we couldn't be there 24/7 because, first off, we both worked. Secondly, it wasn't our property. It wasn't where we lived. The people there were fantastic, and they would spend time with the horses too. So we were grateful. We ended up finding another black horse that was not, it didn't have to be a black horse. But my husband did prefer the horse to be black. But anyway, we found this horse in Kentucky. So we did not get her from a kill pen or anything like that. But we went to get her as a companion for Honey. And we brought her home, and they were companions. They had their differences. They did not always get along. But they were good for each other. And we got her December 30th. So it wasn't too long after we lost Whisper. But, and it was hard. It was hard to do that. But we knew it was best for Honey, so we did. And then the horses ended up being over on that property. Instead, we brought the horses home to them in December. And we thought we would have them to us in like April. Because we needed the ground to thaw so we could put our fences up. But that didn't happen. So the horses actually didn't come home until November. I believe it was November. And, but the people really didn't care. They were like, they could have stayed here too. It would have been fine. But it was kind of sad to leave there because I really enjoyed them. They were like extended family. I loved them. But anyway, we did bring the horses home then in November. And then the following February, a friend reached out and asked if she had asked already, but I decided that we could go ahead and take her horse for her. Um, and she's been here now since February of 23. No, 24, I mean, 24. She's been here since February of 24. And then we ended up bringing Dusty home in May of 25. And he was a yearling at the time, according to the kill pen. He did come from a kill pen. Shortly thereafter, we brought a calf home from a friend who the calf's mother had passed away. It was no longer nursing or anything, so it was fine to be away from its mom, but she was just afraid that it wouldn't get as much food with the other calves that were there because they were bigger than her. And she was right. As soon as we brought her home, she started growing very quickly, which she may have anyway, but I do think, she didn't have to fight for her food. It was all hers. And she's huge now. I think she's huge for her. But anyway, so now we have all of them. And unfortunately, in November 14th, I lost Honey. The vet is pretty sure she had Cushing's, which is what I was thinking as well. And I was actually already treating her with some of the things that you would do for a horse with Cushing's. So it was just very sad. And I still struggle with it, to be honest. I miss her tremendously. And I just miss her. That's where I'm leaving that. But now we have taken in another horse, and he is an older horse as well. I believe they said he was born in 93, I think. So he's like 33 years old. And he's an old guy. He's an old guy. He doesn't have remy teeth. We also put him on a refeeding program as well. We've had him since November 22nd. So we brought him home about 12 days after we lost Honey. That was very hard, and he is not a replacement for Honey. No horse will ever be a replacement for Honey. Honey was my girl. So there's that. But Hero is fantastic. He is a beautiful souled boy, and he doesn't quite trust me completely yet, and he definitely did not trust Lance. I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, we've been talking, and he's getting better, though. So, he's a sweet boy, and now he's letting me pet him all over and stuff like that, so that's good. But he was very standoffish for a while, wasn't sure what to think of everything, but he's getting better. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of went off, I guess, with this, but that's where Heard the Whisper came from, and that's how we got to where we are right now. Our look for the future, I would love to have more property so that we could bring more horses in. I would love to be able to use our property that we get as almost like a retreat-ish type of thing. I'm not talking like go for vacation necessarily, but for people who need some support themselves. The animals that we're bringing in need support. They need a support in some type of shape or form. They need love. They need care. They need to know they matter. They need to be treated like they are important. And people do too. And I think that if we bring them together, Man, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be awesome to have a horse that has been through a lot, has been through the ringer, has been through the auction lines, and be loved on by a veteran who's also been through the ringer, hasn't been through an auction, they're through something totally different. But wouldn't that be awesome? They could love each other back to health, in both ways. Both ways. Same thing with kids, having kids out here who maybe they're struggling with one thing or another. Maybe it's some type of a learning disability. Maybe it's mental health. Maybe whatever. I would love to be a part of that, to bring those two together, horses and people. And they can fix each other. So, just being able to give that unconditional love and not have to pay for all the care of a horse, because they are very therapeutic, even if there's no therapy involved. They are my therapists. So, but yeah, we would love to have like a big garden where people can come and go out into the garden and pick some fruits and vegetables, whatever we've got going on, and sit down and break bread together. And maybe literally, because maybe we'll have a little bread station where we bake some bread and make some coffee and have some tea or whatever, because I do have a tea garden too. So I'd love to have like my tea garden, and you can go in and you can pick the tea that you literally want. Do you want some hibiscus tea? There you go. There's a hibiscus. Let's pick it, right? Build your own bag. Build your own tea bag. And then be able to just sit and enjoy each other's company in that garden. Or go out to the pasture and find your passion like I have. We say, heard the whispers, where passion meets pasture. That's the purpose right there. It is our passion. Our passion is to not only heal the horses, it's also to heal the hearts of everybody who our paths cross, or who cross our path. So, yeah, I mean, having a big garden, almost like a community garden type of a thing in a way, like it would be the Heard the Whispers community. And you come out and you could, pick your vegetables and, just spend time. Maybe you want to come out and plant something in the garden because you don't have space at your own place to do that. That'd be cool. Maybe people could come out and work in the garden, and then they get to take some stuff with them at a later time, or during harvest. So many things that we're thinking of. And then we have the smaller hoofed animals. We have the goats, and those would be, they're so much fun. And they just bring a smile to your face. And if you can't smile at a bouncy little baby goat, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. So they would obviously be a part of it as well. And, having story time with goats, and ponytails with the horses. And we had Paint the Paint last summer. And no, we did not use actual paint on my horse. We used her conditioner, and we put some glitter in it, and she loved it because it was like getting scratched all over. So she loved that. I'm so glad that she was able to have that moment. But anyway, we had, I have all of these things that we would love to do. And they're just slowly starting to happen. And really what we need to do at this point is we need more property. We need a bigger space. And we need to be able to move all of this to that so that we can be more present in that. Right. I do, like I said, I have a special education background. So students with special needs, students with any type of disability, big or small, those are my kids. I love seeing what they can do, and having them be a part of this as well. And they have been from day one. They've been a part of this. They've been out here. They've worked for me. Some of my students have worked for me to get this place going. They love spending time with the animals, and I see it already happening. I already see the changes happening, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait for it all to really roll out. And I know it'll change over time. It'll change. But in the meantime, we've built fences. We've built horse stalls. We've learned so much about horses, and we still continue to learn. We've learned a lot about goats. I now make goat milk soap. Who thought of that? I never thought I'd be doing that. But there's so much that we do now that we didn't do before. And I cherish every moment. And I hope that you keep coming along with me on my journey during this time as well, and enjoy watching what we're doing. And I hope you can be a part of it to whatever extent you want. We're looking at possibly making some shirts that people can purchase, maybe doing some other like merch type stuff, so that everyone can be a part of it in whatever way they want, because not everyone can come out and pick up a shovel or a rake. Not everyone can come out and brush horses, or trim goat hooves, or whatever the case may be, or bale hay. So that there are people who they just want to be able to be a part of it, and they want to do something good, because there are good people out here. There really are. I've been seeing it. There have been so many people backing this and helping us out, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. So I'm going to get off of here because I do have to go feed the horses. They're hungry. So thanks for listening. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have any more, please put them below. Or if you thought of something, or I started something and I didn't finish it, because I do that. As far as what I'm talking about, I get sidetracked. Oops. Ask away. I love talking about it, clearly. I mean, I've already been talking for like 40 minutes on here, and I was just like, oh, this will just be like a 15-minute little video. Well, oops. I did it again. All right. I'm going to hop off here, go take care of the horses, and I will talk to you later. Bye.